Here's the exact reason why multitasking is failing you.
Welcome to the PushPress Podcast.
Where gym owners learn to dodge bad advice, crush their competition, and actually make money doing what they love. Let's get after it.
So, you and I have conversations, I think, quite often about efficiency, how we can get more done, how we can do more in less time. I think a lot of times this comes back to like multitasking and how, I don't think it's a secret to many people on our team that back in the day you would send us ideas and thoughts while also running.
Mm-hmm.
So today I want to spend some time unpacking multitasking efficiencies and how we can do more, but while being pulled in all these different directions with less time on our hands.
Yeah, it's a pretty good topic. Like being efficient with your time is probably the differentiator between high achievers and not.
Especially as an entrepreneur.
100%. I think that's probably if you had like a one leading indicator that indicates if a business is going to be successful, it's how the leader spends their time.
Absolutely. So, I think there's this, to me, there's this mental picture that I have of trying to, I'm like squatting in the gym, and in between sets of squatting, I'm going and grabbing my laptop and I'm like sending out an email and I'm like, okay, now got to get to this next set of 5, right? And this is back and forth. And it's always like, is that right? Am I wrong in doing this? Am I right in doing this? So,
do you know what's hilarious? Since you mentioned that, I didn't even think about this while we were preparing for this episode, but I'm the guy in my gym where in between everything we do, I'm in our Slack. Like you guys wouldn't even know I'm working out. Like the coaches must hate me because it's like we're warming up and I'm like firing off Slack messages. I finish my inchworms. I'm like replying to some, like we're in a thread and if I don't reply instantly, I'm doing inchworms.
Like you are doing the physical movement, so your thumbs are tied up.
But I get so obsessed with like the conversation and keeping things going. Like it's almost more important for me to be back to my phone. Like this is gnarly to admit on camera, but like I'm literally that guy in the gym who's like, everyone else who doesn't know what I'm doing is probably like, what the hell is this guy? I need to be on his phone like 40 minutes of a 60-minute class.
Why in the hell can't Dan focus?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's unpack that a little bit, right? Because that example right there is this, I think of it as in like a balance between what you can physically do and what you can mentally do. And even the example of you running is like this balance between you having a physical exertion while the brain is also just cooking on an idea or a concept. I think there's a little framework around this that we can unpack.
Yeah, totally. Because I've actually told people this in the past that I stopped doing CrossFit for this very reason. It's because it gets so intense. You cannot actually be in 2 places at once during CrossFit.
So,
unless you dial it in like I do, and then I'm still on Slack. But if you're really exercising for the intense piece of it, you're in a black hole for 30 minutes.
Right. So it's like the higher the intensity or the higher the stress, the less you can do anything else, essentially, right?
Correct. Yeah. Like Fran,
right? So like, I am going to be hauling ass, so I can't do anything else,
including breathe. Like a natural reflex that we are doing all day long, all of a sudden becomes hard.
It's hard, and then you get Fran cough because you literally could not breathe for
yes.
a few minutes there or whatever, right? Yeah. So it's interesting because you can run and think, but you can't do Fran and think.
And so there's an example that you gave earlier that actually was very illustrative of this. Is like you told me that you like to drive and think, like if you have to go somewhere far.
Yep. 40-minute drive to the airport for this trip is a great time for me to like get deep on a thing and think through it.
Right. However, if you were late for your flight, or if it was like raining, sleeting, snowing, and there's an accident that people are, you have to drive around.
The intensity and the stress is different than the beautiful sunny day, driving to the airport, cruise control on the highway.
Yeah. So there's this interesting like 2x2 matrix I was trying to work up before this to try and understand the relationship between stress. I think there's 3 factors at play that I'm trying to work through is like the amount of stress, which I think is more of a cognitive response, like how do you feel about the situation? There's amount of physical load, and then there's amount of mental load
Mm-hmm.
that can be thought about. And I think as I was working through it, it's like the stress and the physical load are kind of like on one side of a 2x2 matrix. Like it doesn't matter if it's high physical or low physical or high stress or low stress. Like they all work together versus the mental load part.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I just wanted to tie back to maybe the reason why this is important to understand, because I think it ties into some of the other stuff we've been talking about in this, session of recording, which is efficiency around or intentfulness around what you do and when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know, hey, I'm going to go on an hour-long jog tomorrow, and I also have this project kind of hanging over my head, I'll spend that time to think through it and then bucket that time accordingly, right? So it's like you can get these levels of efficiency if you're intentful about knowing when you have a low stress, physical type of activity accompanied with the need to drive something else.
And or on the flip side of it, if you know you have a lot of things you've got to think through, you can choose not to do maybe a Brazilian jiu-jitsu class next week every day and instead get on a treadmill, get on a rower, get something where you can let your mind kind of wander through it and still get your exercise. Like you can choose your activities as well.
Yep, absolutely. So you have recently started going to Starbucks. You're 2 hours earlier than I am. And yet we always are like, I'm probably on my second cup of coffee and you're already at Starbucks, right? So that's 4 a.m. Vegas time, which is insane to me. I'm an early riser, an early grinder that I think, but you even beat me to the punch. What started the early 4 a.m. time and why Starbucks?
Yeah. So, I mean, just in general, I get up early. And I think that has to do with, honestly, how much stress I'm under with this company. Like, I just don't sleep well. There's always, like, invariably every night, one of my dreams turns into something that is loosely related to PushPress. I have an idea in the dream. I wake up and my brain's like 1,000 miles an hour. So anyway, I used to go to the gym 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, and I would work out during that time because I would be awake. I'd be fully cognitive. Like there's no way I'm going back to sleep, and I don't want to sit around at home and do nothing. So I would go to the gym. What I started to realize is like I went to the gym early and come 3 or 4 o'clock, like I'm mentally fried because I've been up for, a full 12 hours at that time. And I've been like high performance, like all go. So by 3 or 4 p.m., I'm kind of coming off of my workday. My creativity is low. My patience is low. Like everything is just like gone by 3 or 4 p.m. And what I realized recently was if I flip my schedule and I work out at 4 or 5 p.m. and I work at 4 a.m., that 4 to 7 or 4 to 8 window is so peak work for me. Like I probably get 8 hours worth of work done in like 3 or 4 hours at Starbucks with headphones on.
So I think what that points to is one of the most beautiful things about entrepreneurship that every gym owner should maybe spend some time thinking through, which is what tasks am I best at executing on when do they actually fit within my own personal schedule? So you just outlined yours and the reason why, and I'm sure it's not like you just landed on that. You had to kind of test and move, and then you kind of probably hit an unlock and go, oh, that felt good. Is there a way to know when you hit that unlock, or like what's the feeling? What was the feeling like when you like screw it, I'm just gonna go to Starbucks, and then it's like, oh, like what is that? When did you know that Starbucks thing was like, we're gonna keep doing this?
That's interesting because I think it also comes with seasons of your life or job. Right now, we're in a season where I feel like I have a lot of things that I've got to work through that are kind of even more big picture than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so that pressure was probably weighing on me for a while before it just started to feel like working out in the morning. Like I started to feel like working out was even a waste of my time. Um, which of course it's not, but when you start feeling that way, it's like it's again cognitive dissonance. Like I'm like I know it's not, but I feel like it is, so I have to inspect that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And what I just realized was like what really felt like a waste of time was come 3 o'clock, I would be laying on a couch doing my like thinking slash daydreaming because I was so exhausted by that point. And my night routine was basically like 3 or 4 p.m. I'm mentally shutting down. We would have dinner at like 5 or 6, walk the dogs, and I'd be in bed by 8.
Mm.
So it was like by 3 o'clock, like my day was basically over. And I started to feel like that was a waste. And so what I experimented with was flipping work first. I go to work out at 4:45 now. There's a 4:45 CrossFit I go to. Get back by 6. Now everything's the same. Eat dinner, walk the dogs, take a shower, go to bed. But the actual of working out and then going to bed felt better
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like the cadence of my day. So I mean, honestly, I don't know what it was, but it was the level of stress that I was feeling from work that drove me to experiment with the change.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. I've experimented with a lot as well. I'm typically a 5 a.m. riser. We'll spend normally until around 8, pretty deep into work, get Xander to school. And then it's back at it for just a short period of time, clean up anything that I need to free my mind to go work out. Right. So it's like, but that workout time has been pretty consistent for me. Now, I think to your point, there are times when I am at the gym and I'm on my phone and I really have to go, hey, look,
It'll still be there in the next round.
it'll be there. Spend the time like getting after it here. And that goes back to like, I can't do the intensity that I want to bring while also doing the mental intensity there. Right.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, which kind of speaks to how you go about mixing like the mindless with the mindful, and like the driving and is an example. I'm trying to think, are there any other examples of mixing, mindless, monotonous tasks with very mindful ones?
Well, so for me, folding clothes is one.
Okay.
I hate folding clothes. Hate it. Like when you think of the frameworks of time spent, I literally will make the argument that I'd rather leave my clothes like I will like make them nice in the laundry basket in a way that I can peel things off. But I'm like, why am I gonna spend the time folding it to put it in a drawer to take it out and ruin it again? I would rather just pick it right. Like I pick things right out of the laundry basket until my wife gets mad at me. So when I end it, so what'll happen is like I'll stack load and I'll have it like I'll just like pick things off the top. Another load will come, still picking things off. Like another load will come, and then finally my wife Maddie's like, "Put your shit away." So then now I'm folding 3 loads of stuff, right? And it's taking me like 40 minutes, but like that period of time now turns into like I'm just like folding clothes, thinking about stuff,
It kind of goes back to like the what was it? Steve Jobs just had the one outfit or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't have to worry about folding and putting in a proper place because I just wear the same damn thing every day.
Yeah.
And I don't have to think about what I'm wearing every day because I would just wear the same damn thing.
So here's the funny thing is like, so it's basically like a slot machine of clothes, right? Like that's how I do it. No matter, even if I fold it, there's a stack of them, top of the stack shorts, top of the stack shirts, top of the stack underwear, top of the stack socks, put it on. Every once in a while I'll put something on and I'm like, God, what did I put on? Like,
It's like because royal blue with olive green.
yeah. Most everything I have is like black, gray, or like just some super muted tan, and like it all works. And then once in a while, I'll have like a concert shirt that's like neon pink with like green pants or something, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do?
Big misstep here. Let's get into some hacks here. One actually that I stumbled on a drive to the airport a few trips ago was talking to ChatGPT.
Mm.
And it was one of those, like I had some things that I wanted to unpack. And then for whatever reason, and I don't even remember what it was now, but it was like I needed something to consume them rather than just a blank notepad and then to do something with the thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think it was like our sales compensation plan. And so I just started talking through, very top of mind, why we did it, what I was looking for. And GPT just organized my 40-minute brain dump.
That's a huge hack. Yeah. So one thing I've noticed, like, and if you if you Slack with me, you notice like I typo a lot of shit because I can't type as fast as my brain thinks, and I don't have the time to stop and fix it for the most part. So people learn how to read Dan for the most part.
It works.
But ChatGPT out of the box has always understood me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter if I'm talking, and I do a lot of voice to text too. So a lot of times it'll be like, and you can't read it all, or I don't. Like a lot of times I'm voice texting when I'm driving. So I'll just voice it, send it, and then I'm like, oh God, that was like, it did all the words wrong. But
Jim.
yeah, that one is actually understandable by humans. A lot of times it'll just be like, maybe I slur my words, maybe I talk too fast, I don't know, but it's just like, I'm looking at him like, God, like I barely even understand what I said. But anyway, ChatGPT kind of gets it. So it's like, it takes all the inaccuracy out of everything. Typing fast, typing fast, no spaces, typing fast, you don't have to bold shit. Like you just literally stream of consciousness into ChatGPT and you can just say like, hey, organize that into notes for me, or tell me how this should be communicated to my CRO or whatever it is. And it's like, bam, done, right? Super big hack. I think one of the biggest GPT hacks that I don't see people using enough today, that I would bet in 6 months, everyone will be doing this, is using ChatGPT as your assistant in terms of a thought assistant.
Mm.
So a lot of times I'll just be like, hey, dude, and literally that's how I talk to my GPT. Like, hey, dude, like, what do you think? Is this a good idea? And then I'll just ramble my idea.
Mhm.
And I'll be like, be critical, give me the pros and cons, like, be honest with me. And then they'll just tell me like, this is, and then you can kind of like shape your thought through that, as opposed to like wasting your time to do that. Or even worse, maybe spend like 4 hours in my own head trying to figure it out myself.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's major speed.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you build templated outputs, so there's like loose output, which is kind of what you're explaining, or templated outputs, which I did on the way here, which was asking it while I'm like in the Southwest, like little stalls, like here with my A7, just waiting to go board, right? Like I'm like, produce a doc in my format on this sales spiff. And I explained it to it. Doc was done, sent it over to John and Ian, like to go through approval, like took no time at all, you know? So there's something about voice to grow from now.
Yeah. The one point of pause I do put on GPT or AI in general is I feel like it's going to separate a lot of people, in that there's this nuance between using it to go fast and using it to be good.
Yes.
And sometimes those can be the same, but a lot of times they're not.
There's some there's cycles that it should get you part of the way there. It does not take you all the way there.
Yeah, I think okay, so I'll give you an example I'm going to give you a counter example. So first of all, let me make my point. I get a lot of things written to me lately where it's you can read it and just know it was ChatGPT, which in and of itself isn't bad. But then if you're like, hey, you know what, this like one section doesn't make sense. Like, or what are you thinking about this? And they're like, I don't know. Let me get back to you. Like, I'm like, did you even think about what's been written here? Or did you just tell me what ChatGPT told you? Like, that doesn't really work. Here's where I actually think it's good. And it kind of lends into what you were saying. I think I've been doing a lot of customer research, calling up customers, asking them questions about like their business and what's going on. And I've taken a shit ton of time to build a question template and a report template. And the report template is exactly how I want to be, broken out on like things they said and level of effort, and I let GPT kind of do some analysis on like, do you think that's a good use of our engineers' time to build these types of things? And I basically just say like, and I create a project in GPT. I upload all these as like sample files and reference points and all that shit. And then I'm like, use the report template. Here's the interview I did. Generate the report. Do not deviate. And then for the most part, like 90% of what come back is dead on. I don't have to read it because I did the interview, right? It's just synthesizing my information. And then I will go through and be like, because it will always do more.
And it would maybe get a little something that you remember, like slightly off, and then you can make that little course correction if you need to.
In this example specifically, like I'll interview customers and it'll be like, and I'll interview a customer and I'll be like, that is the one thing that is massive. And GPT will always give me 5, right? It'll be like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm like, no, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are, throw that away. It's just this one. So you still have to go through and like give it an overview. But for the most part, like, and I've told people I've given the reports to, I'm like, this is ChatGPT output. I can stand behind everything that's here because I did the interview, but I did not alter it. I'm basically just giving you what ChatGPT told me and it still works.
Right.
Yeah. So there are times that it does work.
Yep. 100%. I'm trying to think through, if I'm a gym owner, where are the best areas for me to multitask or maybe find balances between physical or environmental load versus mental load. And I do think there's a big part of the work that needs to be done around maybe you do your own programming. That's a pretty high mental load. You could balance that with a low physical load, walking, talking into GPT around hey, I want to build the back squat cycle. Here's what I'm thinking. And you're just going to go on a walk or maybe even on a slow jog, right? And you're going to maybe get your level 2, zone 2 cardio for the day or whatever it is, while also explaining some of those more complex areas of the
God, what I just realized as you explain this is mental. These loads are relative. For me at this point, to do a back squat programming cycle, I'd have to sit down at the whiteboard and don't give me some coffee and don't talk to me. Because, it's not what I do anymore.
I guess you're right, yeah, because driving might be a high mental load for some people.
For a 16-year-old or an 80-year-old, it might be I'm doing nothing but drive.
Yeah, God, I hope so.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's interesting. It is very relative. The load you feel is a relative thing.
Yeah.
For somebody who's really good at Fran, they might be able to breathe.
Don't agree with it. So I guess maybe that's probably our biggest takeaway here, though, is whatever is your relative low on one area, you can technically multitask only if you balance with a high on the others, or only if you're trying to do the high on the other side.
Let me add clarity to this matrix of what can be multitasked or not, because that actually was the topic of this podcast. Anything that is high physical or stress load, this is a either or thing. So it could honestly be low physical, high stress, which is like driving while you're late, right?
Yep.
But if one of those two conditions are true, physical load or stress load is high, you cannot multitask it.
Yep.
If the condition is it has to be low physical load, low stress load, and then you can multitask it across either a low mental load or a high mental load. But if it's a high mental load, you have a chance for doing it either wrong or poorly.
Yep.
If it's low, it's perfect combination.
And there might be some people who hear this episode and think, that's bullshit. I know I can do both. And I can tell you that even though you think you are, you're probably misstepping and maybe no one's telling you. And here's where this bit me in the ass. I was doing something around fitness and then racing home from the gym, and there was some higher stress loads. And I was trying to reply to one of our team members in Slack. This was early last year. And she had some concerns about a decision that was made, and I was addressing her concerns in the Slack message. Come to find out, I did not address those concerns appropriately. I was like, double read the message, triple read the message. This looks good. Send it. All right. And she was right. I made a misstep in how I addressed those concerns. I thought it was good, and it took another conversation later on with her to then unpack that I had screwed up. So you might think you are, and you just don't have someone that's going to tell you didn't do that right. So it was like that physical or that environmental stress. I thought I did something right. Turns out I pissed off a team.
There's if we actually dig into this, there's definitely some science, and this is the type of shit I get a geek out about. There's some science here where it's like when you're under high mental, physical stress, some area of your brain is not able to function, which means you're going to misinterpret emails. You're going to take things people say as offensive or attack, they're attacking. There's something there where you just can't function when you're in that stress mode. So the multitasking needs to stop. Because that's when you screw up. Is you're like, let me just handle this email while I'm in bumper to bumper traffic.
Yep.
And you're misreading stuff, misreplying to stuff, misinterpreting things.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's be honest. I've been under a high level of stress for this keynote I'm working on, and I think I've been more snappy with people than ever because it's just I don't have the mental bandwidth to deal with one more thing. I feel like.
Yeah. It's just heightened all around.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not even multitasking. That's just trying to do my age. It's just I guess I'm perma multitasking right now because I feel so much stress from what I'm working on that everything else is in conjunction with that no matter what.
Well, the good news is deliver it for the first time tomorrow. Stress will come down a little bit.
Yeah, so I get the first one off my back.
Yep.
Let's
go.
So I apologize to everyone who's been around for the last 14 days.
We're good. Let's roll. All right. I got some questions.
Yeah, so for me, I would say, what do you think is the biggest GPT hack that you've discovered? So like some way that you've worked with ChatGPT, OpenAI, Claude, whatever you use, Perplexity, all the 100,000 of them out there now, in some unique way that has unlocked something very special to you. I'm curious. Podcast@pushpress.com. Let me know. You got one? You have any questions?
Maybe what are some of the places that you've been able to multitask? What's your version of driving to the airport and, expanding on thought? Podcast@pushpress.com.
Cool. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the PushPress Podcast, where we help gym owners, entrepreneurs, and fitness enthusiasts thrive with actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategies for growth.
Don't forget to follow the show to stay updated on new episodes. And if you're ready for more, join our free Facebook community for gym owners. Check the show notes for the link, and we'll see you next time. Keep raising the bar for your business and community.